It's Monday, November 5th. This is PSN News. Tonight, we'll bring you an update on the Pittsburgh synagogue shooting and how the community is coming together after the tragedy.
We'll also have more on voting in tomorrow's midterm elections. Stay tuned.
Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Michael Sneff.
And I'm Talia Chiariello.
Police charged a Bellefonte man after he was caught on surveillance video lighting objects on fire and throwing them onto the roof of the Center County Courthouse and Sheriff's Office last week. The man was identified as 48-year-old Dennis Hassinger. He's charged with multiple felonies, including arson and reckless burning or exploding. Authorities first learned about the damage when maintenance personnel were alerted to a water leak at the courthouse. Upon further inspection, they found a hole burned in the roof. Hassinger is due in court on November 14th for a preliminary hearing.
A speed limit went into effect today for the North Atherton Street project zone. It will be in place throughout the next year. The Pennsylvania Department of Transportation reports the speed limit will be reduced from 35 to 25 miles per hour between Aaron Drive and the State College Borough line by Mitchell Avenue. The department's release says the reduction was implemented after PennDOT conducted a speed study. The speed limit will remain at 25 miles per hour until the construction is completed in October of 2019. Then the limit will return to 35 miles per hour.
A recent Reader's Digest list named State College one of the best places to move in the country. The magazine calls State College one of the, quote, fastest growing, most educated, and safest college towns in the United States. The list also cites the area's outdoor hiking, biking, and fishing experiences. It says State College is a four-season destination with outdoor adventure, world-class culture, unexpected history, and local traditions.
10 seismic events occurred in the Bellefonte area on Thursday, according to scientists at the Pennsylvania State Seismic Network. 2 events were detected at 1.1 magnitude. The rest were between the magnitudes of 0.3 and 1.1 on the Richter scale. On Thursday, Bellefonte residents reported sensing tremors between 11:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. At this time, scientists cannot rule out other possibilities, such as a mine collapse or a sinkhole. The last earthquake in this area happened in Center Hall in 1991. It fell between a 2.7 and 3 magnitude on the Richter scale. Stay tuned because after the break, Meghan Drakas will bring you the latest in entertainment news.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Meghan Drakas with your entertainment update. No Refund Theater performed the show Radium Girls for the Penn State community this weekend. Radium Girls, set in the 1920s, deals with issues regarding radium-related illnesses. It also portrays the battles between women and large manufacturers for safer working conditions. The cast and crew of the show prepared for months before the reveal. They hope to educate viewers on the history of women's struggles. The State College Housing Transitions hosted its 7th annual Run for Shelter 5K on Saturday morning. The 5K run and walk benefited the Center House Homeless Shelter program. Over 50 community members ranging from ages 4 to 69 participated in the run. With the help of registration fees and sponsorships, the race typically raises over $10,000 to support the Center House Shelter. Pop singer Ariana Grande surprised fans by dropping her new hit single, Thank You Next, on Saturday night. The single calls out her exes including Big Sean, Ricky Alvarez, Pete Davidson, and Mac Miller. It tells a story of heartbreak and empowerment of rebuilding oneself. Thank You Next offers an inside look on Grande's previous relationships and how she has learned from each person who's come into her life. The surprise single is the first off of her 5th upcoming album, and it's expected to drop before the end of this year. That's your entertainment update. Stay tuned because after the break, Kiley Hill has the latest in sports.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Kiley Hill with your sports update. The Penn State Nittany Lions were stunned by their lopsided loss to the Michigan Wolverines on Saturday. Michigan defeated Penn State by a score of 42-7. Mistakes and offensive miscues have plagued this team from the very beginning. There were multiple plays that left the Nittany Lions in this defeated position. The biggest was the touchdown pass that sailed over the head of DeAndre Thompson. With the next game against Wisconsin, there is fear that the Nittany Lions will finish with a record that looks reminiscent of the Sandusky sanction era. Number 6 Penn State men's hockey was defeated by Arizona State 4-3 when the Sun Devils came out with an overtime victory. The loss is the first of the season. It snapped a 10-game home winning streak dating back to last season. The Nittany Lions now stand 6-1-0 on the year, while the Sun Devils improved to 7-3-0. Saturday night marked the 100th game inside Pagula Ice Arena since it opened prior to the 2013-2014 season. Evan Barrett was named the player of the game. He scored a goal in the third period to pull the Nittany Lions back to within 1. Penn State will be back in action at 7 p.m. Friday against Robert Morris. The Pittsburgh Steelers defeated the Baltimore Ravens in an away game with a score of 23-16. Steelers quarterback Ben Roethlisberger looked none the worse for wear, despite playing with a broken finger on his non-throwing hand. He passed for 270 yards and a pair of touchdowns. His effort helped the Steelers take a halftime lead in the AFC North. November is off to a good start for Pittsburgh running back James Conner. He was the AFC's Offensive Player of the Month for October. He produced his 4th consecutive 100-yard rushing effort, the 5th of the season overall, and recorded his first career touchdown catch. That was your sports update. Up next, Maddie Biertempfel has an update on tomorrow's midterm elections.
Welcome back to PSN News. I'm Maddie Biertempfel with a special update on tomorrow's midterm elections. Voters across America will make their voices known at the ballot box, where a plethora of positions are up for grabs. They include all 435 House seats, 35 Senate seats, 36 governorships, and thousands more local races. While politicians across the country will have their names on the ballot, the midterms have long been thought to be a referendum on the president. Republicans currently hold majorities in both the House and Senate, but this could all change tomorrow, as some are predicting a blue wave in which Democratic candidates hope to overtake at least one chamber of Congress. They need to flip 23 seats to take over the House. Some of the most watched races here in Pennsylvania include Democratic Governor Tom Wolf against Republican challenger Scott Wagner. Right now, Real Clear Politics reports Wolf is leading in double digits. Also up for re-election, Democratic Senator Bob Casey versus Republican Lou Barletta. CNN Politics predicts Casey will win by a 16-point margin. Polls in PA will be open tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And if you're in line when the polls close, you can still vote. That was your midterm update. Up next, we have your local weather forecast. Stay tuned.
From the students of Penn State Meteorology, here is your Penn State Campus Weather Service forecast.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm student meteorologist John Chambers with your weather for the week. Right now, looking at Beaver Stadium, we can see this continued cloudiness throughout the day and rain showers that are going to be pushing through and eventually tapering off around 7 o'clock tonight. Now looking at the current temperature, we're right around 48 degrees with the dew point at 46, with the calm wind and a visibility at 4 miles. And now looking at the temperatures throughout the center of the state, we can see a trend throughout most of the area with temperatures in the upper 40s or right around 50 degrees. State College at 48, and then a hot spot in Indiana at 55. And if we zoom out to the entire state, we can see a couple hot spots, Erie at 55 and Philadelphia here at 55 as well, but otherwise just right around 50 degrees for most of the state. And now looking at the future radar, we can see the showers that are going to be moving through today and eventually tapering off by around 7 p.m. But then another wave of showers is going to be coming through on Tuesday, coming through in the morning and finishing off by the afternoon. And then we can have pretty nice weather for your day on Wednesday. But for today, a high of 51 degrees with continued rain throughout the day, with wind right around 5 to 10 miles per hour out of the west. And looking at tonight, we're going to have temperatures dipping back down into the mid-40s with continued showers as well, with the wind slowing down a little bit at 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, we see those continued rain showers again with that new system coming through, with a high temperature of around 58 degrees, which is pretty warm for this time of year, and a southwest wind of around 5 to 10 miles per hour. Now looking at the 7-day, we can see the rain that's coming through Monday and Tuesday, with their highs in the 50s and upper 50s on Tuesday. But then as the week progresses, we can see the high temperatures slowly decreasing from 50 degrees on Wednesday with sun and clouds all the way down to 40 for the weekend. And don't forget to vote tomorrow, even though it's going to be raining. Make sure to come out and vote. And then we have Veterans Day on Sunday. From the Campus Weather Service, I'm student meteorologist John Chambers. Have a great day.
A week after 11 people were killed in the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Rabbi Chuck Diamond and more than 100 people stood outside the building for peace, mourning, and prayer. Diamond served as the rabbi and spiritual leader for the synagogue for 7 years. He personally knew many of the victims gunned down by Robert Bowers last Saturday morning. He hopes that the community is able to, quote, break the glass. He says it is important to remember the tragedy in Squirrel Hill. However, Diamond always says the building should be a place for joy and future generations.
A 26-year-old man was arrested and charged with hate crimes Friday after anti-Semitic messages were found at Union Temple in Brooklyn. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio says he believes this incident is, quote, deeply disturbing to all New Yorkers. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo says he is directing the state's hate crime unit to investigate. The suspect, James Polite, was taken to the hospital for evaluations. He has not yet appeared in court. His charges include fourth-degree criminal mischief and second-degree aggravated harassment. Polite has previously interned with New York City Council Speaker Christine Quinn.
2 people were killed and 5 were wounded after a gunman opened fire at a yoga studio in Tallahassee, Florida on Friday. The shooter was identified as 40-year-old Scott Paul Bierley. After the shooting, he turned the gun on himself. Authorities say a specific motive is not clear. It appears the shooter had no connection to the victims or the yoga studio. Bierley reportedly had a history of harassment and resentment against women. He uploaded multiple rants to his YouTube channel about being frustrated with rejections by women. The 2 victims were 21-year-old Maura Binklet, a senior at Florida State University, and 61-year-old Nancy Van Vessem, a physician and Florida State faculty member. The school held a vigil for the 2 women yesterday.
The midterm elections are tomorrow, but many House races in key states are still too close to call. Democrats are looking to regain a majority by taking the 23 currently Republican-held seats. As of Sunday, 538's election forecasts predicted the Democrats had an almost 85% chance of winning the House. Republicans are predicted to continue to hold the majority in the Senate. 538 also estimates Democrats could win as many as 58 seats in the House. Even with the projected Democratic win, the Cook Political Report estimates there are still 73 seats that are head-to-head between both parties.
And that's all for tonight on PSN News.
Be sure to check us out on Twitter at PSN News. Thank you for joining us.